welcome back. In the last few sections, we have spent some time building up the navbar. We have a fairly good looking navbar right now, and then we'll shift our focus now to the remaining two components of the layout, which is the main content and the footer content. So let's head over to the main content, and in here we have a simple render here, which essentially renders a literal of main. So what we're going to do here is we're going to define styling for the main, and let's see how we can go about doing that. Okay, so in here I'm going to go ahead and create one more CSS class, and that's going to be the main.css class. Okay, so I'll go in here and create the main.css. all right, main.css. all right, and I'm going to make sure I am going to import it here, import / main.css. okay, and after this I don't expect to see any changes because we don't have any styling defined here anyway. And in here, I'm going to say, I'm going to render a div that says, it has a class name of, let's say, main to begin with. All right. So let's see what happens now. And then we go back to the main.css, and let's, I'm going to go ahead and then collapse this sidebar. So I'm going to define the main class here. Alright, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a height to the main component. So we'll always have a min height of, let's say, 80vh, regardless of whether there is any content or not. This is going to have a 80vh. Gives us some standard uniform viewing experience, right? Regardless of what content and what height the content is, right? So it will always end up providing us a view of 80vh. And then I also need a display of flex, so we'll be using the flex styling coming from Bootstrap. Okay, and then I'll also say, for the purposes of responsiveness, say flex wrap is equal to wrap. All right, and let's see what happens now. All right, I don't see any changes, interestingly. Okay, there we go. So you actually see a height of 80vh right now between main and footer. And while I'm here, I'm also going to say justify content as center. So which means, yeah, that's going to go to the center. And I'll also give a padding overall of, let's say, 20px. That's looking great. And let me give a background color here as well. I'm going to say background color. Alright, and I'm going to use a custom green background color, and you can see it here in my app.css. That's going to be something like this, custom green. Okay, it's a light shade of green. Okay, and let's see, custom green. Okay, let's see. Super, that's looking great. All right, we have the basic main component here, which is essentially displaying some static content thanks to, let's say, let me go back to the collapsed mode. Yeah, thanks to this, right? So this is the static content, but in reality we actually have to make sure that we get dynamic content here, because every time we, let's say, go to the browse, or let's say to the main content here, which is landing page, we need dynamic content displayed here. Okay, so which means we also need to get some props here, and again, I'm going to have the generic props in here, but going forwards I'm going to convert that to specific props, okay, from generic props. So essentially I'm going to be calling out named props in here. We'll take a look at that when we get there, but I don't want to put too many things in here and then get it a little convoluted, right? So just trying to go one step at a time. Okay, super. So this is done, and let's go back to our layout component now, which essentially encapsulates the main. So we have the layout component here, we have the main navbar, we have the main. So since the main takes the props, we also want to make sure that we also need to get the props here. Okay, so let's see. So we'll essentially say we also need props here because we need to pass them on to the main. right? Because all our components, let's say browse or in the landing page, will be making use of the layout component first, and they will be passing the props to the layout component, which are then essentially propagated down this hierarchy, right, all the way down to the main. We'll do that wiring sometime later in following sessions. I hope this is right now in terms of how we are trying to propagate the props from layout component and essentially all the way down to the main component, where there could be the props could be manipulated, and then in order to present a view or render a view. Okay. All right, so let's go over to the footer class now. I'll go ahead and save this. I'll head over to the footer class. We have the basic footer in here. We don't have anything in the footer.css at all, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import footer.css. So we're going to have if we go back here to our reference app, we have quite a few things here, okay? So we have a footer here, which essentially I can think of as a row, right? A container with a row, and inside the container we have columns here, right? 3 columns in let's say mode, and we'll also see how we'll take care of that in a mobile mode as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over here, and let me collapse this a bit. First thing I'm going to do is collapse this. All right, I'm going to say instead of the div, let me get rid of this. This is going to be giving me back a footer. I'm again aligning with the semantics of HTML5. So we'll call this footer, just like we did it for nav and some of the other classes. For example, sections that we used. We're going to use sections as well here. Footer is going to have a class name of footer, which I'm going to define shortly. Okay. And I'm going to make it lowercase. Inside of here, I'm going to have a containers, because I want the space in between here, right? I don't want this to be hugging close to the ends of my view. I want this to be a container. Well, let's see what we can do there. So I'm going to have a div with a container. And what else can we do here? For the footer, I'm going to go ahead and give some background color. That's going to have, let's go back to the footer. So this one right now doesn't do much, right? So where did the footer go? Okay, it actually vanished, that's fine. And footer.css, okay, I'll have a footer class in here. Okay, and in here, have a background color. Let's say where of primary navy. Okay, let's see what happens now. Not sure why it's not necessarily going ahead and primary navy. Should have done that, right? Because we are importing footer.css, having a class name of footer. So yeah, should have been there. What's wrong? We do have a class name of footer. Go back to footer. Footer, should it be important? Let's see if that helps. Get rid of the typo. It is not, I don't think it should be background color by any means. I don't think so. No, not really. They're kind of one and the same. This is footer.css. Let's see what's happening here. This is footer.js, footer.css. You're actually quite alright here. Not sure. Let's inspect here in terms of why it is not actually getting the color. Okay. Head over here and let me inspect. Let me give something in here. So, for example, I'll just type in footer. Will it show up? Okay. Okay. I think I know what's happening here. Okay, because we've not given any height and width here. So what I'm going to do is width, obviously it's going to be 100%. Okay, and I'll say height is auto because I don't know how much of height we will require. Let's see, what does it do now? Oh yeah, based on the content, but we can also say let's give it a min height. Okay, so we always maintain a height of that. So min height is going to be, let's say, 10 VH. Would that help? Is that okay? Not bad in the context of things, but let's give it, make it 13 VH. Okay, this is better. Okay, super. So let's maintain a min height of 18 VH and move forward, okay? So go over to footer.js. I'll get rid of this. And what else can we do here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a row inside the container. So essentially it's going to be a bootstrap row, right? And I'll say dot row. And I'll also have it just defined content center. Of course, I'll also have flex wrap here. Super. So we have a row here, and inside the row I'm going to have a few columns, and I'm going to call them sections. Okay, I'm going to have a section. Oops, something went wrong. Okay, section, and what else? This is going to be a call MD4, call of MD -4. Okay, let's see, it actually gives me something. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to have three sections here, and all of them will have call of MD4 for devices medium and above. Okay, that's important to note. And in here, I'm going to have a couple of paragraphs. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this in order to save some time. So I'm going to have my brand name, okay, and also the copyright paragraph. Okay, let's see what we get here. Don't see anything right now, interestingly. Okay, I may have to refresh this, I suppose. Alright, let's go ahead and then debug this. So if I go and inspect this here, let's see what's actually happening. I think it is showing up here. You see that it's showing up here. The problem is there is no color specified here, right? So let's head over here. After this, and just before the width, I'm going to specify a color of a kind of version of white, and I have it as primary alt white or something. Yeah, alternate white. Okay. Let's see if it actually shows up now. Okay, super, it's showing up. This is nice. And so let's go ahead and actually do a few more columns. So what I'm going to do is I again will go ahead and copy a few things from outside, because this is going to have, I'll have the same column specification, call MD4, and inside a section. Let's go ahead and close this. Okay. And in here, I'm going to have an unordered list. Essentially, it'll list all the links related to Indie Cafe. Let's see. Alright, inside here I'm going to have a couple of list items which are wrapping some anchor tags. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Alright, super. Yeah, there we go. We have to again do a little bit of styling there. Okay, and finally we will have the social media links in here. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy this section. Open up another section for the social media links. Okay, and in here what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a div that encapsulates all the social media links. Alright, so let me get the first one. I'm going to have, let me again copy this bit, because this is going to take a fair amount of time, so I don't want to extend this video beyond the time it's required. So let's say, so essentially this is going to be using the Font Awesome icons here. Okay, remember we actually used it in the nav bar here in one of the few lectures for the search icon, as well as for the, I think, one more icon we had for the bars. Okay, let's go ahead and then get these things. I will actually make sure that I'm going to have this for a multiple social media icons. So let's see how we can go ahead and do that. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy this, do this multiple times. All right. Okay, So first thing is we need one for Git and one for, let's say, Facebook. Let's say one for Twitter, called TWT, and the last one was LinkedIn, called LNK. And what we had to do is we have to actually go ahead and import all this stuff. All right. So I don't recall what the imports were. Let's go ahead and then check that. I think we had that in navbar.js if I recall correctly. Brand icons, we didn't do that. Let's go ahead and import this. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Font Awesome from React Font Awesome. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this in here. So that particular issue is gone. And then I need to import a couple of other things as well. I'll go ahead and do that. So import, one was FA GitHub, if I'm correct. FA GitHub, yeah. And what else we need? FA Facebook. Yeah, that's the one. And what else? We need FA Twitter. Yeah, what was that? I don't think we ever copied that bit. Yeah, if it's going to be FA LinkedIn, yeah. This is going to be from our brand icons, right? So it's going to be @FortAwesome free brands SVG icons. Okay, let's see if it actually goes ahead and I think failed to compile. Interesting, it's still compiling. All right, it's saying it's not able to find anything, module not found. I think we did install this bit, if I'm correct. Let's go ahead and check that. I'm pretty certain I made this change. I will head over to the package.json and in here look for the free solid icons, brand icons. Yeah, free brands SVG icons is here. Can't resolve this. Okay. May have to restart this. Okay, let's actually restart this. I'm gonna bring it up again. Looks like there could be some conflict because I do have the libraries, just that I know it's not picking up there, right? So I'll go ahead and say npm start and come back again. Okay, there was a small typo in here. I actually had a semicolon. I apologize. I had to give a semicolon at the end of it. So that was a problem. Now it should be going ahead and compiling just fine. Okay, so if I look back in here, it should be compiling just fine right now. Okay, there we go. We all have these GitHubs. So we're gonna go ahead and make some changes there. So next we'll have, let's say, FA Facebook. Okay, and this is gonna be FA LinkedIn or FA Twitter. Yeah, anything is fine. FA Twitter, yeah. And last one will be FA LinkedIn. Alright, let's see what we get. Okay, super. Let's see. Get some. Okay, super. We're getting something in here. We also need a little bit more styling for these individual columns, which we'll take a look at next class because it's already been a long class. We'll reconvene and then regroup and take this forward and make the necessary changes. Alright, take a break. Come back soon.